Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies with Nurse New Bully and your host Leroy, aka What Happens on Earth Stays on Earth, with my co-hosts.
Yeah, this is Eli, aka Indian Jones.
Not Indiana, Indiana.
Indian, yeah.
Indiana. Okay, yeah, we're back with the episode. We're just gonna jump into it, and it seems like it's a light week because not much happened, but it's actually a full week for us because a bunch of stuff happened. And we're just gonna jump into it. We're just gonna just knock out these protocols. First, we want to start off with a passing that we want to talk about. Eli, I'm gonna let you do this one because I'm not too familiar with this work. We're gonna talk about Fred Ward. I want to just say rest in peace.
Yeah, character actor Fred Ward. He was in Tremors. He was in did you ever see Time Rider? Old 80s flick where he's like not a BMX, like a motocross rider, goes back in time to the Old West. Never seen it?
I have
80s
not
flick, Time Rider.
seen it. Never heard of it. Nope.
Remo Williams. You ever see Remo Williams?
That was him? I thought that was somebody else.
That was Fred Ward. They tried to make him like an American James Bond. But that movie bombed, so they never made any sequel.
Okay, I've heard of it. So that's something.
And of course, Natives. He was in Thunderheart, one of our classic flicks. He's a white guy playing a native, though, but still gets a pass. So, like, we ain't got that many movies, so Fred Ward gets a pass.
I mean, that sounds kind of problematic, but
Well, it's fucking 30 years ago. What are you gonna do? That's all we have.
Canceled.
Like 2 movies: Thunderheart and Dances with Wolves. That's all we got.
Right. He died yesterday. We're gonna cancel him right now.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, he's been in a bunch of flicks. I'm pretty sure you've seen him. But yeah, he's been in a few nerdy shit that especially Tremors. Horror fans know him from the Tremor movies, and so yeah, good journey, Mr. Ward.
Yeah, I just want to say, and I also do want to talk about, like I said, the one movie I have seen him in was, like you said, Tremors. I would assume everybody watching this has seen Tremors. If you haven't, at least watch that first one. It's a Kevin Bacon movie, so whenever that Kevin Bacon game show pops up, that 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, boom, you got a movie. So yeah, but he was in it also, and Tremors is, like I said, an awesome movie, kind of horror B movie.
It's a campy creature feature from the 90s, like early 90s. They made like a bunch of sequels.
It's from the 90s, but it felt like it was from the 80s, but it was from the 90s. Oh, yeah. But it was like I just watched.
But it was like a throwback to like the 50s, like a 50s,
like the Blob movie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was like one of those movies. I think the bad guys called the Graboids or something. Yeah. So, all right. So now we're going to change it up a little bit on this podcast because there was one thing we said we weren't going to do on this podcast that we're going to do. Well, first thing we always said that we weren't going to do versus battles, and I decided to do a versus battle. Yeah, okay. And we're going to do a versus battle because we all saw Doctor Strange. People are starting to lift spoilers up now, and the internet is starting just even 10 days out or 14 days outside the movie. Like, hey, spoilers! Hey, it's too late now. It's out there. If you're still on the internet, that's on you at that point. So yeah, we just want to briefly talk about who could beat Wanda in a fight. That's the question. We want to beat Wanda in a fight because let me see. Yeah, we got there the Scarlet Witch. We got all these people. People didn't know how powerful she really was. Now they know, and so we just want to go down the list. Okay, who could beat her in a fight? Could it be Thanos? No, because she already kicked Thanos' ass. I mean, how many times she got to whip his ass? And this was before she got the Darkhold buff. Could it be Superman? No, can't be Superman either. Why? Because if you listen to this podcast, you should know by now, one of Superman's weaknesses other than kryptonite is magic. Wanda is all magic. Now, we're not saying that he hasn't beat magic people before. Yeah, but this isn't Felix Faust. This is reality warping witch that can control minds and shit like that. So who can beat Wanda? And I got a name that everybody keeps looking over, but it seems to be the obvious one. Batman. Batman can beat Wanda. With prep time, of course. But with prep time, he can beat Wanda. How can he beat Wanda? Because we have seen Batman. I thought this. I've been thinking about this all week. The reason because we know he can beat. Yeah, I'm gonna break it down because yes. Okay, so Wanda is a reality warping witch with childhood trauma that can read minds. That is batshit out of her mind. we've seen Batman handle this before. Boom. In the Justice League animated episode, where it was like one of the last episodes they have, where the Justice League fought this girl called Ace, who was pretty much the exact same thing. Reality warping witch, and I'm almost certain she was like a Scarlet Witch analog, but just like for DC's purposes. She wrecked everybody in Justice League. Everybody was like, there's nothing we can do. And Batman was like, I'll handle her. Batman walked in and talked her down. Why? Because Batman knows how to handle people with trauma. That's what he does. What did Doctor Strange do in that whole movie? He was making fun of her the whole time. Oh, you're not going to be on a lunchbox. She got sick of that shit and started wrecking people. We can handle your little witch. She started wrecking people like in Mom Jean's Barefoot. But Batman, on the other hand, understood what trauma looks like and handle her. So if you want to send somebody in to stop Wanda, send Batman. Boom. There you go. Batman is the only person that could have stopped her. So I don't want to say right there.
Yeah, but they're not part of the same universes. So
it's the multiverse. You can do
work,
whatever
man.
you want. You can
Can't
do whatever
work.
you want. It don't matter.
Nope, it's not in continuity.
Oh yeah, he'll have some kind of mutant collar or some shit like that. Either way, Batman will take it down. Yeah. So
Constantine will give him like a charm around his neck.
Right. He'll find a way.
Protection spell or some bullshit, magical bullshit that they always come out. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Right. Like we said, in a versus battle, the winner is always the writer. We already said that. All right. So Eli, I'm gonna let you go ahead and start up because I know you had you watched the movie.
I did watch a movie.
You did watch a movie.
Oh, so I forgot to grab a fucking an image, but oh well. I'll just go off the top.
Oh well, just freestyle, baby. Let's see what you got. Okay, so I'm gonna just step back and let you fill me in on what am I missing on this cinematic classic.
Okay. I watched The Sadness. It's streaming exclusively on Shudder. This is one of the sickest, goriest, most violent movies I've seen in a long time. And I was laughing my ass off.
Okay.
That's
so this meets your standard. This meets your standard because anytime we watch a movie, no matter what happens, it's not gory enough. It's not gory enough. I'm too metal for this shit.
Oh,
but this meets the Eli standard.
This is like this. Yeah, this surpasses my expectations.
Interesting.
Yes. It's a total splatter flick. So that's the genre. A gore flick, a splatter flick. That is a genre. Just basically highlights blood and guts, and it's buckets and gallons of it in this one. Basically, it's kind of like a zombie movie. It's more of an infected movie. It's kind of like 28 Days Later, where there's this virus that infects people and turns them fucking crazy. Like,
so what's the difference between that and a zombie movie? Like, what's the distinction?
Well, zombies are dead. They're undead corpses walking around. They're dead people walking around. You shoot them in the head, they die. These are just people that are still alive. They're just totally insane. Totally went, minds walked off the map. Basically, this virus taps into your darkest desires and makes them do the most vile, depraved, horrific acts of rape, torture, and murder. And that's basically what it is. It's 90 minutes of depravity.
Okay.
But it's like it is like a zombie movie. It's like an apocalyptic scenario. A viral outbreak breaks out in the city. People are getting infected, and this guy is trying to this couple. They've been separated. They're trying to find each other throughout the city, and they're like basically they're two journeys through the city of absolute carnage. It is. It's very gory. It's very violent. Trigger warnings. Hey, all the trigger warnings. It's got every like this is really like extreme gore and violence. This isn't so. Yeah, I'm just saying if you're into horror and like extreme horror, this ain't The Conjuring, this ain't Scream, this ain't Doctor Strange. If Doctor
Another movie
Strange,
you said this is baby level gory shit right here.
Yeah, if Doctor Strange scared you, you can't hang with this one. Yeah, like I said, it checks all the boxes of every trigger warning. It's yes, like I said, rape, torture, murder. It's all there. Um, yeah, very depraved, sick acts are being committed. But it's so over the top and gory that it's just the thing about splatter movies is they're so ridiculous. They're so over the top and almost like cartoony that you just laugh. Like I love them because I just laugh at it. Like it's so fucking hilarious to see this extreme levels of violence and blood. Just it's like a cartoon, and of course it's all practical effects. There's no CGI. It's all practical in camera. You know, gallons of blood being just washed all over everything. There's a train sequence. Holy shit! That puts the new Texas Chainsaw, the bus scene, ain't got nothing on this train sequence that happens. But there is a creep factor. Like it gets a little disturbing. There were moments where I generally winced. Like I said, oh shit. Like not only of the violence taking place, but also the nature. Like it's like I said, this virus taps into your darkest desires and makes you, and you're totally conscious through the whole thing. That's what I said. These aren't regulars these aren't undead walking corpses. These are people who are still alive, still retaining their memories, still them, retaining their intelligence as humans, but they can't control themselves. They're just, full of this virus that just makes them do very violent, depraved things. And it shows it. It shows it. It doesn't go as hard as some there's movies out there that are like beyond shocking and just basically are just shocking to be shocking. It
you got an example?
Like the Serbian film, it comes to mind. That's basically, it was definitely a mix of The Crazies and Wreck. Yes, Wreck and The Crazies.
So those are other examples you give? Okay.
Yeah, but the storyline. The Crazies doesn't go, and Wreck for that matter, doesn't go as like hard as this movie. But the sadness isn't like, I wouldn't put it on the level of like a Serbian film or even Martyrs or something like that. But it is pretty extreme, so if you're into splatter flicks, you're into gore, check this out. I had a blast. Like I said, I was laughing my ass off. Yeah, like I said, it's one of the sickest flicks I've seen in a while. I heard, like I said, I heard about it through word of mouth, like last year. I think it was released last year in Taiwan. And it's just been like word of mouth. Oh, you got to watch.
So it's like a foreign movie.
Yeah, it's
kind of okay.
Yeah, yeah. So and it also, like all, definitely gore and vulgar. They push yes, they do. They push the boundaries. Like I said, trigger warning. If you are easily offended, if you are easily triggered, yeah, you might want to stay away from this one. Yes, the train scene and the hospital. Yes, there's spoilers. There's like a bloody orgy going on in the hospital. In a hospital.
Okay.
Like I said, it gets pretty sick, but it's so goofy and hilarious that I was laughing. Like I said, it's so over the top. But like all zombie flicks or these apocalyptic movies, they all have a tinge of social commentary, and this has it as well. This is a pandemic movie, and it totally makes a comment on what we're going through, what we've been through. There's the doctors talking about how the government doesn't listen to them, how politicians sort of took advantage of what was going on during an election year and fed misinformation so they can get votes. There's all that going on.
So it's like a violent
cool.
Don't Look Up.
I guess, yeah. Yeah. There's this one villain. Yeah. Like I said, it's definitely not for everybody. It's definitely for people like splatterheads. If you're into like extreme gore and splatter movies, this is if sin was a virus.
Took a shot at the Me Too movement. I guess so.
There's a scene on the train where this woman, like this guy, he like the villain. He's actually a pretty effective villain. This guy who's like in a suit, just a suit and tie guy on a train, hitting on the girl. And at first she's polite. Hey, I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna continue reading my book. But he keeps talking and keeps talking and keeps bugging her. And she finally says, "Will you leave me alone? Do I have to accuse you of sexual harassment?" And then he goes on, I can't even be polite without being accused of sexual harassment. And then he kind of makes that argument. And then of course, shit goes south and he becomes like a recurring villain through the movie. He gets infected and he's like repeatedly chasing her throughout the movie.
Oh, like Pepe, like a violent Pepe Le Pew. Okay.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, there's some eye trauma that happens. Eye trauma. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to get us like flagged and kicked off. Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely if you're into extreme horror, if you're into blood and guts and gore, check it out. It's definitely gonna be. It's probably gonna be on my best of list this year. I'm thinking, The girl with the eye. Yes, I don't want to spoil that scene, but yeah. But yeah, check out The Sadness if you're into horror flicks. If you're into extreme horror flicks, if you're into blood and guts and splatter, check out The Sadness. It will deliver.
Right. I want to ask you a question. Because they said that since this is a comic book podcast, they're saying that they're seeing elements from another comic.
Oh yes.
Not that it's based on, but
Yeah, and actually, I guess I've heard the director was inspired by it. So Crossed, the comic by Garth Ennis and I can't remember who drew it, but that was a very controversial, violent comic about the same scenario. This virus takes over the earth and makes people go crazy and do very sick, depraved acts. He said, from what I've heard, the director was inspired by the comic, and there's elements of that. It's very similar to that comic book, Crossed. So check that out. It's I never finished it. I know I haven't read the whole series, but I have checked it out. And yes, it's very sick and twisted and violent like this movie. So yeah.
Cool. All right. So before we move on, I guess I watched the movie also, but it's kind of fucked up saying it after what you just said. The Lost City.
Oh yeah.
I saw the Lost City this weekend. I just wanted to talk about it. It's on. I don't even know if I can follow it behind it and be honest with you, but I'm gonna try. All I'm gonna say, it's on Paramount Plus. It's a nice romantic comedy. That's all. I say that to say this: no matter what kind of movie you see out there, between me and Eli, we have seen one or both of them, one or the other. We will go the gambit of the spectrum, regardless of that. Yeah, can we move on to the next part? Can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Well, did you like it?
I don't even know if I can even say. I don't even know if I'm allowed to admit. I can say, is that a red flag if I say that I like the movie? Yes, I like the movie.
Is it like an Indiana Jones movie or something, or like
no? It's like Romancing the Stone.
Oh,
it's a romantic comedy.
Well, that's cute. I like Romancing the Stone.
I just feel like you just pat me on the head right now. You're like, there, Leroy. Good for you.
That's cute.
Bless your heart. I don't know what to do after that. Look, I like the movie. If you're into romantic comedies, if you're a fan of Romancing the Stone, you will enjoy this movie. They had good chemistry together.
Who's it? It's Sandra Bullock and
Tatum Channing.
Oh, okay. I was
the Magic Mike guy.
I was thinking of Mark Wahlberg, but he's in the other movie, the other Romancing the Stone movie or Indiana Jones movie. Any?
Uncharted. Yeah.
Uncharted. Yeah. The other Romancing the Stone.
Okay. I like this better than Uncharted. Oh man, let's move on before we lose every single one of our listeners. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the video game section. Gonna see where we're gonna start off from there. First off, let's pat ourselves on the back.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
self-plug ourselves for a second. Yeah. Because we don't do that enough on this podcast. We actually do a little bit too much of it on this podcast. But let's go with it anyway. All right. So what I want to do is thank everybody for following our stream the other day. Well, yeah, because we streamed on Outright Geekery. We were looking at, what was that? Streets of Rage 2. Okay, so we streamed Streets of Rage 2. Did it hit about 2,000 in a day or so like that? For us, that's pretty good. You know, we're not some big channel stuff like that. Stream got a lot of comments, stuff like that. And Eli, I want to also brag on myself for it because this shout out to you also for you liking it. This is the first time ever on Facebook I had a post with every single emotion on there. I'm proud of myself for that. I don't know why I'm proud of it, but I just am. It's almost like I felt like Thanos for a second, you know. Where I
Somebody
achieved
liked
all
you,
of the
somebody's
stuff.
in love with you, and
Right. Somebody
wants
hates
to fuck
me.
you, somebody's pissed
Right.
off at you.
Maybe they're all the same person. Who knows? I evoke that kind of reaction. I've heard that before. All right, so next one, we're gonna stick with the video game section. Eli, stay with me. I know this is the part where you usually like get up and take a piss real quick, but stay with me for a second. Okay, so something happened in Street Fighter this weekend, and it was a controversy that happened. Actually, he like hit number one on Twitter, where apparently there was a notion where the music composer of Street Fighter, came out and said that I want to do a song for Fei Long in the next game, but I don't think we'll ever use Fei Long again. And they were like, wait, you don't think you'll ever use Fei Long again? What's going on with that? Well, the reason they don't think they'll use Fei Long again is because, because they're saying he may be too close of a comparison to Bruce Lee. And they're saying that the Lee family may be cracking down on cartoony and, childish versions of Bruce Lee. And even went a little bit further that the reason is because of the Lee family cracking down on that, Eli, because of your boy, Quentin Tarantino. Your boy.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What about yes, so that includes Bruce Law from Tekken, and
they may be coming after that because, of course, there was a controversy where Bruce Lee got his ass kicked by Brad Pitt. Whether or not it happened, we don't know. And the thing is, like I say, anytime Quentin Tarantino makes a autobiographical documentary, it's always like a variant what if version. It's like watching What If. He's always throwing that mode in like, this is my perspective of what I wish would have happened in that scenario. So if he wants to get Bruce Lee's ass kicked in his movie, you can't really say too much about that. Bobby D, what's going on?
Bobby D, what's going on?
No relation. Okay. Yeah, so that's the thing about that. But at the same time, it's all speculation. We don't know what's going on. We don't know whether that's a deal or not. He might pop up, and the Lee family made a statement saying that they didn't do that. They don't even know who the hell Fei Long is, and they're not going after anybody that's having a bad representation of Bruce Lee. So it could just be all rumors, and it could just be stuff just gets spread around. We don't know, but people are getting freaked out about it because I don't know. Fei Long hasn't even been in Street Fighter game since 2009,
and there's a new one coming out soon, right?
Right, but they don't even know if he's going to be in it because he may have been canceled already. Whether he's in it or not, honestly, I don't really give a shit. But don't do anything like take him out of the old games. Now, that's where you get pissed. That's why I get pissed off. Where you retroactively start taking stuff out of old stuff that's already been done before. Leave that alone. That's history. Leave history alone.
Well, there was that Bruce Lee game for Xbox, like way back when that I played. I thought I had fun with it. I think it was the first Xbox.
Yeah, but nobody played the first Xbox except for Halo. That was every other game. When I was gonna say Michael Jackson Moonwalker, that was Sega Genesis.
There wasn't many games on it. There was Halo and like a handful. I played that Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. I thought that was pretty cool. That was fun. And then there was that Bruce Lee game.
And I think the Bruce Lee game was exclusive. I think it was just on that. So the only way to get it was on that one. So yeah, but he was cool on that game. He wasn't like cartoony getting his ass whipped or kicked like that. Wasn't He looked like a badass, but yeah, that's so. Can we move on to the next part of it? I just wanted to bring it up just to briefly talk about that. Can we move on to the next part of the podcast? Okay, let's move on. All right. So, like I said, it's Comic Book Bullies, but we talk about the comic books, and we're just going to jump into it. And Eli, I'm going to let you go first.
We're early. We're killing time. I mean, we're doing
We had two movies,
Oh, that's right.
Splatterfest
Oh, yeah,
and
I
Romance in the
dropped the other
Stone.
movie I was going to talk about, so I was like, yeah, man, let's go.
Let's do it. So yeah, so I'll let you go. What you got?
Well, I'll do. What did I do? Let's see. I will do Jurassic League #1.
You know what? I looked at that book and I was just like, I wonder if Eli's going to read that. I just have a
I
feeling
am.
you were going to read that.
Well, Daniel Warren Johnson. I am such a huge fan of Daniel Warren Johnson. However, he did not draw it. He is just the writer on this.
Is that a shark?
So
They didn't have sharks.
he's like a brontosaurus or something, super saurus or something. So Jurassic League. This is just what it sounds like. It's what if the Justice League were dinosaurs? And that's all it is. It's just stupid, campy fun. Basically, it takes place in prehistoric times where there's dinosaurs roaming the earth, and only there's superhero versions of those dinosaurs. There is I can't remember some of these names, Batsaur or Batadon or something, like the Batman version, and he's fighting the Joker lizard or the Joker Zard. And of course the Joker's lizard killed the Bat Rex's or whatever his name, the Bat dinosaur's parents.
Okay.
So it's basically all the same tropes of the Justice League, only it's dinosaurs. And it's really like I said, it's a really cartoony, fun, version of retelling of the Justice League. Yeah, the Black Mantisaurus, fighting the Aquaman. What's his name? Aqua Saur or Aquadon or something like that. The Aquaman version of a dinosaur, and of course, some human. They were humans. They are raising, like cavemen. They are raising the super brontosaurus or whatever his name, the Superman dinosaur. He's being raised by cavemen.
Okay, so caveman exists in the Jurassic era of this. Okay, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, whatever. The superhero dinosaur.
I'm not gonna go into plot holes in a dinosaur Justice League book. So
yeah, superhero dinosaurs. What the fuck? You can't have cavemen back in the Jurassic era.
This is unrealistic.
This is yeah. Factually, this can never happen.
Well, actually, I'm not going.
Yeah, and he lives in was it Metropolis? That's what it's called. Metropolis, like roar, like Metropolis. That's where he lives. You have the Wonder Woman. What's her name? Triceratops or Trimascaria, and it's like all the Amazons are like Triceratops,
Okay.
And so yeah, and she's riding a pterodactyl, but yeah, and
she's
then
a Triceratops riding a pterodactyl. It was the pterodactyl invisible.
Yeah, in a Wonder Woman outfit.
Okay.
And then
now I'm wondering if that's going to awaken things in me, seeing Wonder Woman as a dinosaur.
Back when you had your Land Before Times fetish,
right. Rule 34, it exists on the internet. So
yeah. And then at the end of the book, Metropolis gets attacked by Giganta and Brontosaurus.
The exact opposite of Brontosaurus, Supersaurus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where it's to be continued. So yeah, this is just stupid fun. Like I said, it's superhero dinosaurs. And yeah, I had fun with it. So yeah, I like I said, I love Daniel Warren Johnson. I love his art. This is something right up his alley. And I also like he's a good writer too as well. So yeah, I give it a 4 out of 5. I had a lot
I'm
of
gonna
fun
ask you a really stupid question, lad. Don't give me the side. I want to ask you this. Did they number the Earth in this book?
Oh, did they? I don't. Let me see. I'll check. Let me check.
They probably
They
didn't. They
might have.
probably did. I just want to know. I just want to know.
Let's see. I don't know. Outside the skirts of Growltham City.
Growl them. Okay.
I know he's Jurassic World.
That's okay because I'm almost done with my multiversal map. I need to make sure if I need to put Dinosaur Justice League on the map.
Just
Okay, so
Earth. Yeah, what other Earth? What Earth? Whatever it was, Jurassic Earth. It
right.
doesn't say. Not here,
Okay.
anyways. I don't
It
see it.
probably doesn't. Not a big deal. Probably doesn't. I need to make sure. Okay, but we can move on past that.
So this
Thank you.
isn't canon.
This isn't canonical. Screw this
This is a
book.
bunch of bullshit.
1.5 out of 5. Plus, it's unrealistic.
Super Sor. That's his name. Super. Oh yeah, it says it right there on the image. Super Sor.
Supersaurus. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next book I'm gonna do. Okay. So, like I said, last week we didn't get a chance to do free comic book day. But this week they actually released the free comic book days on the week of they came out. So I decided to go ahead and decide to review. I'm not gonna review all of them. I'm not gonna review most of them. I think I'm just gonna review one of them. One we need to talk about. What we're gonna do is the Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals book. Eli, I'll be honest with you. After reading this book, it has piqued my interest. I didn't give a shit at
Oh
first, but
yeah.
it piqued my interest. Yeah. I was like, that's actually a really good idea for a fight. So let's just go to it. Let's just see what we got. What do we got? What do we got? Let's start here. I think we're gonna start here. We are gonna start here. Okay. So, like I said, we got Eternals versus X-Men versus Avengers, and Judgment Day is the name of the book where how it's starting off, and it's kind of giving us a prelude onto what to expect from Judgment Day. So, starting off, the book just starts off with just talking about the Eternals and the X-Men and the Avengers. Basically, just talk about the Eternals, with agents of the space gods that came down here to make sure that the deviants don't get out of control. Okay, cool. You got the Avengers, the Earth's mightiest heroes that aren't the Eternals. The Eternals, like, okay, yeah, y'all are Earth's mightiest heroes, but you're not us, but you're cool. Even though Thor has kicked a couple of their asses before. And then they get to the X-Men. Now, the X-Men, that's a whole scenario. And they're going to go into detail. And they basically talk about 1,000,000 years into the future, 1,000,000 years BC. And we're looking at a blue monkey. And you got the BC Avengers. You got Odin. You got Druid, one of the Eternals. And you got Uranos. Not Uranus. Uranos. So there's no anus jokes in this review. So for those who don't know who Uranos is, he was the Eternals leader back in the BC million area. And he's Thanos' uncle. So, yeah. They see a blue monkey, they say this blue monkey is a problem. They're like, what's the problem with the monkey? Well, the monkey has telekinetic abilities. And if it was one monkey, it'd be cool. But it's like a whole species of them just chilling out there by themselves. Okay, so what's the problem with a thinky monkey that has powers? Okay, if a monkey can develop those powers like that, that's not a mutation. That's a deviant. Like, well, what's the difference? Because if you mutate too much, you're automatically clarified as a deviant. So what we need to do, we need to eliminate this whole tribe of monkeys. And Odin like, well, that's a little bit extreme, don't you think? You're like, look, we're not asking. We are genetically wired to destroy deviants when we see them. So if you got a problem, we're going to go to war. Do we have a problem? You're like, tell you what, tell Judy, give me a beer, and I just look the other way. Cool. And that's what happened. They just kill the monkeys. So Odin didn't think it's a big deal while he's getting drunk, shit like that. We like that might be a big deal later on. Anyway, we go to present day. We see a huge deviant wrecking, destroying the city and shit like that. The Avengers show up. Avengers assemble, blah, 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 all the stuff like that. They show up and they can't put a dent in this thing. Like, what the hell is this? So not even all the Eternals show up. Just 2 Eternals show up. Icarus and Cersei. That's it. Just 2 of them come in there, wreck this monster. Dead. 2 seconds. It's like, that's it. And Cap and Iron Man just like, hey, appreciate you, Cersei, coming in. She was like, thank you, but I honestly don't like what we just did. It's just the thing that anytime we see a deviant, we go into like kill mode automatically because the space gods, the Celestials, genetically wired us like that. So we have no choice in the matter. Like, you have a choice, we don't. So we cut to Krakoa, and basically what happened is they resurrected Cyclops for some shit he did. Who cares? But they have an invisible Eternal on Krakoa that they don't know about to sneak past all their sensors. And he goes back to Drew and tell him, like, yeah, the X-Men, they figured out how to cheat death. They basically become Eternals. Like, and Drew's like, no, they're not Eternals. They're immortals at best. So what I need to do is find out whether or not these mutants are mutants or are they deviants. I need to know if there's a difference between them. And if I can't find the difference between them, well, we do what we do. You know, we basically go into kill mode on the X-Men. So that's the question. Are the X-Men deviants? Because if they are deviants, that's on site for the Eternals. That's what's going on with the fight right now. And that's pretty much the Avengers trying to stop the Eternals from killing the X-Men. You know, another story, Blade's daughter shows up. I want to talk about this story also, where Mary Jane, because like I said, the mutants have a virus, you know, basically giving cure for people with thing. And so we got Aunt May's aunt, Anna Watson, who actually predates her in the Spider-Man comics. She had dementia. She took the X-Men drugs, cured her dementia. She's like, yeah, I just want to be around here long enough to watch the end of Succession, you know, because Mary Jane is like an ambassador for Krakoa or something like that. So the gala is coming up, you know, that new Hellfire gala is coming up. And while it's coming up, oh yeah, that's pretty cool right here. There's prediction of what happened in the fight. Magneto is fighting Captain America and wraps Captain America's shield around his head. I don't know what's gonna happen now, but that sounds pretty cool. So anyway, we cut to Mary Jane. She's putting Aunt Anna to bed, and then you hear a voice saying like that, I need your ticket to the Hellfire Gala. She's like, what are you talking about? You scream, I kill everybody in the house. And it turns out it is Moira McTaggart. We should have read that Lives of Wolverine book, Eli, because I think we missed a step. Apparently she's a robot now. I didn't know that. They killed her, turned into a robot now, and apparently she can wear the skin suits of people to walk around. And apparently she's going to do that to Mary Jane. So she's going to kill Mary Jane, I guess.
Like a Terminator. Like a Terminator?
Like a Terminator. That's exactly what we can do. So I'm like, what? Okay. And they said to be continued in the X-Men Hellfire Gala, because apparently Moira McTaggart is going to kill Mary Jane, wear her skin as a suit, walk through the gate because Mary Jane got a ticket, you know, to get to the Hellfire Gala, and Moira's going to fuck shit up. That's apparently what's about to happen. And apparently this is supposed to lead to Judgment Day. So I guess.
Okie dokie.
We missed some stuff, but yeah, okay. So
at least it was free. No.
It was free, yeah, but I guess I got to catch up to see what's going on, but yeah.
Okay. I guess the next book I'll do is Blood Syndicate, since you want me to do Blood Syndicate.
Okay, let me I think we need to put a disclaimer up. So, okay, so everybody knows it's an unwritten rule, not even a rule, it's a guideline, mild suggestion, that anytime there's a black book, I do it. Anytime there's a native book, Eli does it. You know, now keep in mind, Eli has done plenty of black stuff on this show that I have no idea what's going on. I'm just nodding my head like, well, that's interesting. You know, and that's all I can do because I didn't read it. I'm not familiar with it, you know, like that. But at the same time, even though, yeah, sometimes we do black books, sometimes we do native books, guess what? 90% of the shit we review on this show is white shit. White books written by white people. That's all it is. Because if we sit around and wait for, you know, BIPOC, you know, representation on this show, we're going to be sitting for a while. It's going to be a very short ass podcast. So we kind of review everything. So at the end of the day, a good story is a good story. If Blood Syndicate, I'm not saying whether or not Blood Syndicate is a good story, but if it is a good story, it shouldn't matter whether a black person reviews it, native person reviews it, white person reviews it, Asian person reviews it. It's a good story. It's a good story. Because you notice that there's not too many of us representation that's doing this type of stuff. So you're not really going to get too many reviews of Blood Syndicate to begin with.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the big reviewers are scared to review Blood Syndicate.
From like a black perspective as well. Like, you know.
Right. Or even from a non-black perspective.
I'm not black. Yeah, I'm not black. But hey, not in this book, but Blood Syndicate does have
I was just about to say that.
Members. They have Puerto
Right.
Ricans and Asians and Latinos and yeah. So
And Vietnamese and Chinese in the book. That's why I first learned that Vietnamese and Chinese don't even like each other. I didn't know that was a thing, but that was in that book when I'm like back in the 90s. So yeah.
educational. Comics can be educational.
He was like, he was a Vietnamese superhero. Like, oh, you Chinese? I don't fuck with the Chinese. I'm like, oh, that's a thing? Okay. So, anyway, I'm gonna let Eli tell me what black experience I'm missing from this book. Actually, I read the book, but I'm gonna let you.
You did read it?
I did read it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've read Blood Syndicate. Like, I know they're all on DC now, or all that old Milestone stuff is on DC. I might have to go back and refresh.
Well, here's the thing: this book is not on DC like Universe Infinite, because before all the Milestone books were coming free on their site. This one wasn't. So I actually sent a letter out like, what the hell? You know, I'm still waiting to respond.
This new book?
The new book, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but the old stuff is still there.
No, I'm saying like when we were doing like the new icon, the new static.
Yeah.
All that was day one. All they
even the new books were free.
Even the new book. I didn't pay for any of them. This is the first Milestone book I paid for.
Oh yeah. They are. Yeah. I didn't even check because I have DCU. So anyways, I bought it off of this. I bought it off of Comixology. So yeah, Blood Syndicate #1, another expanding of the new revamped Milestone universe. This is fitting in with the Icon and Rocket series, with the Static series. Is it hardware? Is there a hardware? I haven't read. If there's a hardware book, I'm not reading it.
I've reviewed it, like all of them.
So basically, this for those who don't know, Blood Syndicate is it's an old 90s title from the Milestone books. And this was basically about street gangs that with superpowers. And trying to protect the streets from, at first they're not. As I remember, they're still like doing crimes. Well, they're protecting their blocks from other gangs.
That was the plot twist. That was the plot twist of the old book. Because they were led by Holocaust. Like Holocaust was the leader. And then it turns out like he was like, nah, I'm not trying to do any of that good shit.
He was just trying to like, take over.
Right. And Holocaust being like a big thing, like in like the 90s, and like when DC started taking the Milestone case in there, Holocaust came and be like, he was fighting everybody. He was fighting Superman, the Teen Titans. Like he just went nuts. Like he was a big breakout villain from Blood Syndicate. But yeah, and
he's like front and center on this, even on the regular cover. He's like front and center. He's like the Darth Vader. He's got like the big Darth Vader.
Yeah, because he was just a part of them. But it kind of turns out when people were reading the book, they were like, okay, this guy is cooler than everybody else. That's kind of why Holocaust kind of stood out.
Well, and then they killed like Mac 10 or not Mac 10. Is it Mac 10 or
Tech 9?
Is it Tech 9?
Yeah. I think Tech 9. Yeah, I'm
he died like right away. I remember. Yeah, Mac 10 or Tech 9. Tech 9?
Mac 10 was the rapper with Ice Cube.
Well, I think there's a Tech 9 rapper too.
There's a Tech 9 rapper now I think about it. He's dope. Go listen to his stuff. I like Tech 9 stuff. I like Tech 9 better than I like Mac 10.
But didn't he die? Like he died like right away. Like he was like one of the coolest characters, and he like.
No, I think that was DMZ died. I think DMZ died.
Oh, DMZ. Oh shit.
There was a dude named DMZ. Yeah, I think he died. It's been so long since I read those books. It's like
that's what I'm have to go back and refresh because I have to go back.
They were great books. They were great books, but yeah, it's just wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, Blood Syndicate, the new revamped version. #1. Basically, we start out Tech 9. Is it Tech 9? And why son?
They don't really say their names. They just
anyway,
yeah.
They're in the war. They're in like the Persian Gulf. They're basically it's a flashback where they're in the war. They were in the Middle East. And then they come back home to Dakota City. Is that what it's called? And they're just kind of looking over the neighborhood and finding out what's going on. And it turns out Icon and Rocket basically been trying to clean up the streets and got all the, took all the drug dealers out, but there's still all the street gangs are still fighting for territory now. It kind of like made things kind of worse. It's like basically the Wild West now. Like, okay, all the drug dealers have been taken out, but now all the street gangs are trying to like fight for power.
Because all the big guys, the Italians, like the Russians, since they clean up they have no control. So it's just like the local gangs taking over now.
Yeah, so, now they're fighting for power on the streets, and they're all the shit's going on. It's very violent streets, and so that's all it is. It's them two kind of walking around the neighborhood, finding out what's going on. At one point, they run into Holocaust, and then a drive-by happens, which I kind of not that it's funny, but like, God, yeah, totally 90s. Like, who the fuck does drive-bys anymore?
Right. It's a throwback book.
Yeah. But yeah, the drive-by happens. Fade, what's his name? Fade takes him underground. Is Fade what? Who is no? See, I can't remember who.
I can't remember who, because they don't say who is who. They just like you just like we're supposed to know. How the fuck are we supposed to know this?
That dude could fade through shit. His name was Fade, right? And Y's son, he was the Muslim, right? Wasn't he a Muslim? Like,
but he's like Afro-Latino in this book, though, isn't he?
I don't know.
I guess I don't know.
Anyways, they go down Tech 9, like his power is he can like make guns and weapons out of thin air. And
now before it was just Tech 9s.
It's just machine guns.
Machine guns. That was it. Now he put like a rocket launcher or some shit like that.
Yeah, he pulled like a rocket launcher out of thin air.
Actually, I think his old power was like any gun he gets has unlimited ammo. I thought that was his power. Now he's just like fucking.
Yeah, he just pulls a gun out of thin air.
Like
he
Bloodsport from
a rocket launcher.
Yeah, like out of nowhere, like that wasn't a thing, but whatever. It's a new universe. This is new continuity. Yeah. So do what you want. It's cool.
And he blows up the car, and he's like the guy who's in the car is like Holocaust is, he's taking over or whatever, and then Fade ends up bringing him and Tech 9 down to the sewers, and they're like, "Yo, you got powers? Yo, you got powers?" Like, so that's kind of it. That's kind of where it ends. Like they're both discovering that they both have powers.
Right, but so, I'm like, did they get their powers in the Big Bang? Are they bang babies? Or because it seemed like they was off the war when all this stuff went down, because they didn't know any about the stuff about Rocket and all these other heroes, stuff like that popping up.
Oh, so the Big Bang happened while they were at war?
That's according to them, yeah, because that war was like they had a flashback. It said a month ago, like years ago, a month ago. So I was like, so basically, when all that shit went down, the Big Bang and all stuff like that, they was at war at the time. That's when they came back. They didn't know any people. They didn't know Rocket, didn't know Icon, didn't know Static, didn't know anybody. So like, if you don't know anybody, how did you get your powers?
Huh?
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Because in the old book, in the 90s book,
this book sucks. Then,
I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure they're going to explain that, but I'm just saying, in the old book, they all got the powers at the same time. The Blood Syndicate, Static, all of them. When the Big Bang hit, boom, that's how they all got their powers. And Holocaust just started collecting people, stuff like that. But whatever. They'll explain it. I'm pretty sure they explained it. They left a hook open for a reason. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a number one. And that's the thing is, I know I'm familiar with the story, so I kind of know. But I'm like, as far as like new readers, I don't know if they kind of know what's happening.
I wouldn't even know if this related to if I was a new reader coming this, I wouldn't even know it was related to gang shit. I would have thought it was just some war shit, because they mostly was in the Persian Gulf the whole time in the book.
Yeah, because on the cover here on this is the variant cover. We see Y's son. Who is the Muslim here? He's got the Muslim hat.
That's Y's son, but I don't know if we've met him already. That's the thing.
Then you got Holocaust front and center. There's Tech 9 back there.
And it changes stuff in this book. Brick House, yeah. I guess that was the girl they met, Sarah. I guess the girl they met already. So yeah.
Okay, so did she get her powers yet? Because she ends up turning into the Thing, like a Thing type of character.
Well, it seemed like she did turn into something, because he said, Sarah, do something. And she got it. So she got some kind of powers. We don't know what it is. They changing up stuff because, like I said, Holocaust was a part of the Blood Syndicate at first, but now he's just a straight up bad guy straight from the beginning, which is cool because if you read the other stuff like Static and Icons like that, Holocaust has been in those books. He's just been in the background, just like waiting his time. So they've been already setting him up, you know.
Yeah.
So I
A
guess they're
couple
trying
of
to
these
correct
guys,
what they
I'm
did.
not
For
sure
the,
who's who back there.
Like I said, it was a lot of people in the Blood Syndicate.
Wasn't there a guy like an Asian, no, like
there
the
were like
third
two
rail or
Asian.
whatever? There was that one. Yeah, there was that Asian chick and then the Asian dude. Yeah, it's been. I'm gonna have to reread this shit. But that's the thing is, I guess what I'm saying about this book, it for number one, it doesn't really. It's kind of confusing. It doesn't really feel like a number one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
maybe that's part of the hook. That I don't know.
Because it introduces these characters, you don't really know who they are, you don't really know their history, and then at the end, they just kind of reveal that they have superpowers, and then you're not clear what those superpowers are. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's kind of relying heavily on you. You have to be familiar with these characters, you know. So I don't know if it works so well. And even I am, but it's been like forever since I read this shit that I can't remember. I didn't remember a lot of it.
Right. And then even if we did remember it from what we've seen, it's not even the same thing. People have different powers, people have different motivations, people have different affiliations. So even if you did read the old stuff, none of that matters for what they're doing now.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna cautiously give it a 3 out of 5 because I'm interested to see where it goes. But as a number one, I don't think it works so well. So I'm just gonna throw that
it didn't just grab you, like it's grabbing us because of nostalgia factor. But if you didn't have the nostalgia factor,
if I like I said, a new reader, if I didn't know who any of this shit was, I probably wouldn't care. You know,
right? Just move on. That's it.
So which is kind of disappointing, I guess, in a way, because I was looking forward because like Blood Syndicate's the only milestone shit I ever really got into. You know, and
I liked all of them, but Blood Syndicate was that different book that Marvel and DC wasn't doing, and they couldn't do.
Yeah, and I remember you were like, "Oh, they're never gonna bring back Blood Syndicate," and all. And then they finally did, and I'm like, "Cool," and I'm like, "This is it, though." So it's a bit of a letdown, but it is the first issue. I am gonna see where it goes. So.
Right, they have. I have questions. Hopefully, they have answers. Next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So next book I'm going to do. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the Marvel stuff. Let's get to the Marvelly stuff. Hulk versus Thor, Banner of War Alpha, number 22. Eli, you did read this?
I did read it, yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right. So, that's what's going on with this book right now. Basically what's happening is that if you haven't been keeping up with Thor, haven't been keeping up with Hulk, Donny Cates is writing both books, and he's basically having it set up where they're having this big, huge knockdown, drag-out fight. We've seen Hulk and Thor fight before. This is nothing new, but Donny Cates is promising us that we haven't seen this. That's what he's promising us. Okay.
This is
Donny Cates.
The battle to end all battle.
Right. I like, okay, Donny Cates, impress me, And with Donny Cates, like I said, when he says something, he usually delivers. But this is a tall order. I want to see, can he give us a Thor Hulk fight we've never seen before? So let's just go ahead and start this book off. So what we have here, like I said, Hulk versus Thor, and we have the Watcher.
Eating popcorn.
Eating popcorn. Now the thing, and the Watcher is basically saying everything I was saying right now. All the stuff that Donny Cates was saying, he's saying right here. He was like, "Oh yeah. I know you've seen Hulk and Thor fights before. They fought plenty of times before, but I promise you, this fight is different. They will be talking about this fight 1,000 years from now on every planet, and you want to have the front row seat to it. Matter of fact, pull up beside me and get some popcorn." So basically, the Watcher is Donny Cates. He is Donny Cates, and it's the same thing like in the old. He's us, yeah. Because when Stan used to write the Watcher was Stan Lee, So yeah. So and he's just giving you a recap of all the stuff Thor did. Thor killed Galactus, became god of Asgard, fought himself. Thor, Odin died, blah blah blah. So that he's mourning, he's in grief, but he just got an alert of where Hulk is. Like, okay, since I'm in mourning, I need to smash something. I need to hit something with my hammer. Let's go. Oh, and I'll come back to Mulligan next day. And then they also give you background of what Hulk. Like I haven't read any of those Hulk books, but apparently he is a Hulk spaceship now.
Yeah, I
He
dropped off.
yeah.
I'm not current, but I did read a few issues. Yeah, he's the Starship Hulk or whatever.
Yeah, and he's going from multiverse to multiverse, basically trying to run away from the Avengers because they're trying to pin
Jefferson Hulk ship or
yeah, or whatever he is, yeah. And he controls it by rage monstering Hulk by making him fight
the
more
engine.
villains. So
Yeah,
yeah, the
So,
Hulk
so
engine, yeah.
he's picking up. He's expanding. Well, I don't even know if it's expanding. More like simplifying what Al Ewing did in his run about the different personalities. The Hulk has all these different personalities. So
Right. He's got
Banner
the
is the
it's
pilot.
like the id, ego,
Yes.
super ego, that type shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Banner is the pilot. Savage Hulk is where he gets his strength from, and he's the engine. And then he also has like Betty in there, and there's different. They're all different co-pilots, I guess. But essentially, these are all like personalities inside the Hulk, and
Right.
Banner is steering him like a
Yeah, and
like a
they're all working in
ship.
concert together instead of where they
Yeah,
used to just fight against each other. So yeah.
yeah,
All right. So okay, so Thor shows up, and the main thing is because like I said, Hulk has jumped from multiverse to multiverse. Thor is like, I'm gonna handle Hulk myself because I need to, I'm still grieving on my dad, so I need to beat somebody up, Finds Hulk, beats the shit out of him, or at least starts to beat the shit out of him, and then Hulk teleports them to he's like, Banner, I know you're in there, I know you can hear me. Stop the rage. He's like, Thor, shut up. And then they teleport to like some kind of cartoon world where a bunch of cartoon rabbits see them and they just start smashing
like
shit and they start running shit.
yeah, like Disney shit and
Right.
what was that Adventure
It
Time?
looked like Adventure Time. Yeah, they just smash into Adventure Time and
Yeah,
just like
you
fucking
know,
shit up.
you know what this reminds me of? You're not reading that crossover, but this kind of reminds me of crossover.
Yeah,
That
like
shit he's writing at
because
where
Donny
he's
Cates
just
is writing it. Yeah.
he's writing that and he's making all these. It's a big meta reference to comic book lore, to comic books. So this kind of feels like it's bleeding over.
It might
Crossover is
even be
bleeding
that.
over.
It might even
Yeah,
be that. Because like I said, it's a crossover. So all
yeah,
right, so Hulk stands up, he's just like, I can hear you just fine, Thor. So he basically saying, I'm not some rage monster. It's me, it's Banner. And I forgot to tell you, since Odin died, his soul is trapped in the Mjolnir. So Mjolnir talks to Thor. Only Thor can hear him. He's like, let me at him. Let me find him. He was like, sure. And Betty is talking to Banner. She's like, you need to stop this, Bruce. You can't do this. Like, shut the hell up. So they're just talking to each other. And they're looking at each other like, who you talking to? Who you talking to? They're like, okay, yeah, this is weird. Like, you want to go back to beating shit at each other? Yeah, cool. Okay. So yeah, they just go back to beating shit at each other. They're like, yeah, this is better. So they start fighting more like it, and they're like, okay, we can't keep fighting this cartoon world. We're gonna kill everybody in this cartoon world. We're destroying shit. So he tells ladies, this is Adventure Time. I can tell. Yeah. So she was like, okay, look, power up the Hulk engine some more, and he's like beating up Iron Fist. Fuck it, why not? And Sif's like, okay, I found a place to send you to, a world we can send you to where you won't just destroy cartoon animals and shit like that. He's like, okay, get us out of here. And she teleports them Bifrost-wise to the Black Hand of God. So it is the Black Hand of God. I don't know if this is a thing. It is a tournament arena where the most vicious, violent war gladiators in the universe go here to fight to the death. And everybody sits around and bets on it. And it's watching like I told you. He just sitting in popcorn and see it's about to get good now. Just wait. So and then you get it. Okay, we got the Green Star, the indestructible, immortal Hulk versus the Golden Avenger, the Thunder God, the mighty Thor. And they're like, wait, what? So apparently they've been waiting for them the whole time, and that's when you get the Marvel vs. Capcom round one fight. All this stuff. Like they got health meters. Super bars at the bottom of this shit like that. So they just go, okay, let's go beat the shit out this guy. He like, okay, 17. He like, 17? What the hell are you talking about? Smacks the shit out of him. He like, 17 people. How many people you killed in El Paso? And he's like, and he like smashes him in the back of the head, back of the back with the Mjolnir. And then he like, 17, Bruce, and I'm about to put you down. So he smashes him again and leaves Mjolnir on his back. He's like, look, the Avengers have been trying to deal with you for years. They always trying to cage the beast. They're always trying to send the beast off, stuff like that. I'm not them. I don't do that. I know that's not how you deal with monsters. Now, look, we've been dealing with each other for a long time, so I appreciate our fights before. but this is the last time we're gonna have a fight. And don't worry, Banner. I will always remember you as a good friend. And I don't feel I don't feel enjoyment in a situation like this. So you got Hulk, get this damn hammer off me. I can't get up, So you got Banner, cranking up the Hulk and shit like that. Like, get this hammer off me. He's like, look, you can't get the hammer off you. This is Mjolnir. I don't care how we can crank this shit all the way up to 11. You're not getting Mjolnir off of you. He was like, okay, look, don't worry about it. We fought Thor before. He's like, no, Hulk has fought Thor before. You've never fought Thor before. So you don't know. It's like, okay, give me access to all of Hulk's memories and all the fights we had before. I want to know everything. I need a scouting report on Thor right now. And then we're going to fight him with smarts, not just smashy smash. We're going to go at it, That's what we got. And Hulk is just like trying to get up. He was like, and that's when he gets all of the fights, all the Stan Lee and the 80s and the Walt Simonson run and all the shit, like all those fights is in his head right now. So he knows everything that Thor can do in a fight. And he's just, and like, okay. And Thor's like, whoa, Banner, what you doing? And Banner and Hulk is just like, gets up. And he gets up through Mjolnir. Guts spilling out everything, guts just everywhere. He's like, oh shit. You're like, and he's like, he just stands up. He's like, Thor, pick up your hammer. They're like, Thor's like, okay, well, the fight's still going. So he grabs Mjolnir through Hulk's stomach, guts and everything. He's like, okay, now let's continue to fight. And they just keep fighting and shit like that, just going to war at it, just like smash. You're like, yeah, let's Hulk smash. I'm still smashed. That's I'm on brand, And Watcher just does like a Jim from The Office take right at the camera. You're like, I told you. Meanwhile, he like, get the hell off me. And Mjolnir in Odin's body is like, look, let me handle this. And he flies off and he basically builds up speed. Hulk's like, what you gonna do? Shoot me with thunder? You think that's gonna kill me? They're like, that's not thunder. That's Mjolnir breaking the sound barrier. And it's like coming at him with that same attack that was about to kill Galactus, smashes Hulk through the black hand of death or whatever this shit is, through the arena. They go flying down the arena, beating the shit out of each other the whole while they're fighting down there, just still fighting each other, Finally get to the end, and that's when that's when what was I was gonna say? Odin's like, look, none of this shit is working. Let me handle this. Mjolnir is like, let me handle this. I can take Hulk out. You're like, okay, dude, cool, do what you do. So he just let Mjolnir go, and Mjolnir flies right into, well, not right in, but right at Hulk's head, smashes him right in the head, and takes him out. So Banner is knocked out of his control center. And when he's knocked out of the control center, that's when he looks up. He's like, uh-oh. Odin is inside Hulk's head, control center, engine room,
whatever.
Whatever. Odin is there. So
yeah, I have a question because I have not been reading the Thor run. Okay. Is Odin inside Mjolnir?
Odin's soul is inside Mjolnir.
Okay.
So basically, when Odin died, his body passed to Mjolnir.
Okay.
So yeah, so nobody can understand Thor. I mean, nobody can hear him except Thor. So it's like Mjolnir is talking. Yeah. So yeah.
So it's like his spirit or whatever came out of the hammer and is now in Hulk's head because the hammer went through Hulk's head.
Right. So that's the thing. So now it's I get it. I kind of understand it. I know where he's going with it. So like I said, Donny Cates liver. This is more Donny Cates wackiness, craziness. What you expect,
Just in time for summer. This is our summer blockbuster.
This is our summer blockbuster. Get your popcorn, sit next to the Watcher while he breaks the fourth wall. Look at it. So yeah, and I agree with him. This is a different fight. I've never seen a Hulk Thor fight like this. I've seen them fight plenty of times, not like this. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's what the Hulk is. Hulk is a summer blockbuster, And yeah, this is the epitome of superhero battles. It's always Hulk versus Thor. Who wins? Hulk versus Thor. So we've been for all our lives. Who will win? Hulk versus Thor. Hulk versus Thor. Yes.
And most of the time they stop the fights because if they keep fighting, they're going to destroy everything. Like just destroy New York and shit like this. Like, oh, Doctor Strange, let me just teleport their ass away from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Thor's not going to stop. He's just going to keep coming.
Yeah. And also, it's funny, like, it's getting very meta. Like, Donny Cates is always getting meta, but in this book, he's totally referring to us as fans. Like the Watcher talking all that shit, that's us. Like I said, that's us as fans. When it comes down to it, that's all we really give a shit about. Why do we keep reading these comic books all our life? We're all these old fuckers still reading these fucking superhero comics. Why? Because we want to know who's gonna win and what fucking. It's all about what superhero kicks whose superhero's ass.
Right.
That's
all why
we
you got these internet battles, so we can go get scans, go to internet battles. Well, in Thor 382, in page 5, we're gonna give you that shit. So
yeah, this is why we still read this shit. Is because the superhero battles, and he knows that. He knows that this is all we really give a shit about. I mean, do we really care about any of the plots? No,
we don't. We just want to see them fight, and that's what he gave us from beginning to end. It was just ass whooping. That's all it was.
And that's why I stopped reading the Hulk book. I don't give a shit. Just tell me when they're gonna fight. I'll show up for the fight.
Because I know you're gonna give us a synopsis of what we were missing. You gave us a synopsis, so everything I need to know, I know. He was hyping for multiverse. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Starship Hulk, sure, whatever. When is he gonna fight Thor? I knew that was Donny Cates was writing Thor. Now he's writing the Hulk. He's gonna have them fight, and we knew this a year ago or a couple years ago now.
Right.
It's all come down to this. They're just gonna have a big giant battle. The battles of all battles, and like I said, this is why we like this shit. We really don't give a shit about plot. In the end, we just want to see them punch each other.
We just want to see them punch each other. Like, yeah. I mean, Thor flying Mjolnir, 2 Hulks, guts and shit like that. Yeah, give me that.
yeah, it was just stupid fun, and I'm here for it. So, yeah.
All right. So, what you got next?
What do I have? Shang-Chi number 12. Let me get that.
Shang-Chi, whatever it is.
Yeah. Let me get that image up.
I saw the image. I didn't read the book, but I saw the image. I'm waiting for you to pull it up and see.
Oh, I got the variant.
Because does it happen? Does it happen in this book?
It happens.
It happens. Okay.
For
those that haven't read it, you'll find out what we mean when we say, did it happen?
Yeah. This is the variant, so it doesn't show it happening.
Okay.
But so Shang-Chi, his grandfather has been going around trying to kill all of Shang-Chi's family because he wants to be the ruler of the 10 rings and wants to rule everything and all that. Kidnapped his mom, brought him back to that realm that was in the movies.
Kal-El.
Had those monsters chasing after everybody who had his bloodline, all his brothers and sisters. They all went back to that Kal-El to face him off. And this is the final battle. Basically, it just, this is the final standoff. It's all, this is issue 12. It's all come down to this. And Shang-Chi finally gets a hold of the 10 rings. And he starts whipping his grandfather's ass, like beating the holy shit out of his grandfather, like just slapping the shit out of him. Just got him down. But also, his father's in his head. He's at his dead father. The spirit of his father is talking to Shang-Chi in his mind, and he's telling him, you got to kill him. You got to kill this guy. He's a piece of shit. Kill this motherfucker. And Shang-Chi is like, I can't. I don't want to end up like you. I don't want these rings to turn me into a tyrannical asshole like it did you and him.
Like he was training, like his father was training him to be. So yeah.
I that's not me. That's not who I am. It's like, you stupid fucker. He's like, you little dumb little spoiled little shit. You soft bastard. And I can't believe you're my son. Like all this shit's going on. Like Shang-Chi's dad is pissed off. And while he's sitting there like froze and not in doubt and not attacking, the grandfather ends up counterattacking and like basically knocks a big old bowl, like a cave in the cave, and all this rubble falls on Shang-Chi. And then his grandfather takes the rings from him.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Where are
takes
his brothers and sisters? Are they like on the other side of the cave or something?
Oh, they're
Or?
with them. They're with them. They're
Okay.
with them. They all get caved in. Um, and he's like, "What the hell?" So he gets the rings from Shang-Chi. He's like, "What the hell? There's only 6 of them. There should be 10 of them." But oh well, whatever. Jumps on his monster, goes off to goes back to Chinatown, New York, and starts wreaking havoc. Meanwhile, the Jade Emperor, the god of that realm, is like, "Hey, your asshole grandfather took the 10 rings, and he's trying to destroy the world. You guys better go get him." So Shang-Chi, who's got 4 of them, he only took 6 of them. He's still got 4 of them left. They chase him to Chinatown, have a big old battle, beating the shit out of each other. Finally, Shang-Chi, of course, beats the shit out of his grandfather, takes the 10 rings back, goes all Super Saiyan and just beats the shit out of everybody, or beats the shit out of his grandfather and all his followers. And then
Lou. There? No, I gotta find out what happened in the end.
Are you there?
Yeah, you blinked out for a second. It was like, and then I'm like, what the fuck happened? I want to know what happened.
Oh, yeah. So they bring the grandfather back to the realm, and where he's being judged by the Jade Emperor, and the Jade Emperor shows him mercy, and basically lets him all the brothers and sisters. It kind of resolves itself after that. All the brothers and sisters go back to their respective houses, the House of Daggers, the House of Staff, the 5 Weapon Society, and Shang-Chi's just on his own at the end.
He doesn't take over a house because he's in control of the house also.
Yeah, he's still the leader of the 5 Weapon Society, but everybody goes back to their houses. His mom stays in that spirit realm. All his brothers and sisters go back to their respective houses, and he's just kind of on his own. But then at the end, the rings kind of form, and they're basically calling to him, and basically, hey, this is your destiny or whatever. And that's where it ends. And the next story arc is going to be Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, number 1.
Oh, it's a new book.
It's going to be a new book,
new series,
a new arc, a new story arc. So,
okay.
So yeah, I've been digging on this. We've been following this book for a couple years now. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. The writer, what's his name? The Gene Lun Yang, he totally knows like Hong Kong, martial arts movies and all those references to,
and also this
lore and mythology and shit.
And also this book leans heavily into Asian culture. Now,
yeah,
last I checked, nobody on this podcast is Asian. But guess what? We still like the book. So it didn't have to be, oh, I can't review this because it's this. No. We still like the book, and there's still stuff to learn about, because at the end of the day, a good book is a good book.
Yeah.
That's all.
And if you're a fan of like martial arts movies, old Hong Kong cinema, wuxia films and that sort of those,
or even
old Chinese
mythology.
Yes, Chinese fairy tales. This is totally borrowing from that. And it's just a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, and it's cool. Like, and again, back to diversity, when you get that perspective, a writer who knows the culture, you get cool shit like this.
And the difference. Yeah. There's a difference between this and the shit they were doing with Shang-Chi in the 70s, where they drew him yellow.
Fu Manchu ain't in this book.
Right. You can tell the difference. So
yeah. So yeah, another 4 out of 5. I'm still with it. I still look forward to the next.
If it's a new book, I might need to start that back up and jump into it also. So yeah. All right. So book I got. I think this is my last book. I'll tally it up and see. Okay. So we're gonna do Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 1. Oh, okay. I screwed it up. You know what, Eli? I was gonna read this until you told me to read it, but I'm glad you told me to read it. I was like, oh shit, it was a good book. All right, so we're gonna do Superman, Son of Kal-El. Let me just jump into that one. Okay, so where we left off in the book last time is Batman shows up, and Batman tells John, Son of Kal-El, that his boyfriend may be a spy. He may be dirty, maybe evil, so you need to handle that.
You called it.
Yeah. But now we're gonna get into it and see exactly what's going on and see whether or not it's a thing. So, like I said, we're gonna get to the book, and when it starts off, we see, go a little bit later, and Jay has been calling John, but John has been ghosting him. You know, for those who don't know what ghosting is, that's when when somebody is emailing you, texting you, calling you, and you just been ignoring them. I've heard a lot of people on social media don't know what ghosting is, so I'm not gonna say I've done that before, but just to let you know that's what it is. So you go to some kind of JLA compound where they've been hiding out, stuff like that, unclassified where it is, and John does something that nobody in the DC has done before or is scared to do. Look at Batman and tell him he's wrong. Like, Batman, no, you're wrong. And Batman looks at John like, no, I'm not wrong because I'm Batman. I can't be wrong. He's just like, your boyfriend is a violent extremist. You're like, you're a violent extremist. So he like getting hostile at Batman for telling this shit. Like, look, I understand you're mad at me, but you were young, you're emotional, you letting your emotion get the best of you. I've already can tell you're easily manipulated. He was like, look, I don't need your protection. You're like, no, I'm not protecting you. I'm protecting people from you because you're the most powerful person on the planet. So you need to start acting like it. So, Batman's acting like, the stern uncle, and John looked like, man, I really want to take his head off, but it's Batman, so I'm gonna just leave. When I leave, you got Paul Kent, Big John, Superman's little John, he's Big John, He's like, look, Bruce, you wanna have a talk? Let's go outside to have a talk, okay.
This is my favorite part. I love this conversation.
This is my favorite part. It was actually also leaked to me online, but I just like this part also. Where you got Paul Kent and Batman talk, which I don't think that's ever happened before in a comic book before. They sit there and talk, and they just like, so you don't agree with, Clark outing us and letting everybody know who he was because it makes it harder for the Justice League to know, to protect us. He like, I didn't agree with that situation, but that's what he did. But it leaves y'all vulnerable. He like, there it is. Alfred already said you would do some shit like that. You're like, how you know Alfred? How you even know what Alfred would think? You're like, when Alfred was alive, we used to talk every week. You're like, wait, what? Yeah, we used to talk every week because nobody understands what we're going through other than Alfred and vice versa. So me and Martha would talk to Alfred every week, catch up on each other, tell us everything was going on. He tell me everything you doing. I tell him everything Clark was doing. And because we're the only people that could talk. He was like, I didn't know you and Alfred talk. He like, see, you don't know everything, Batman. He was like, man, that was my best friend. So we didn't even know. Is this a retcon? Yes, a retcon. Do I care? No, because it's an awesome retcon. So yeah, John Kent and Alfred were like good friends, stuff like that. And he was just like, look, so maybe Jonathan is making a bad decision, but it's his decision to make. It's not yours because yes, you're Batman. You don't trust anybody, but Jonathan needs to learn this stuff, and plus people make bad decisions when they're in love. I mean, hell, weren't you about to marry Catwoman? You're like, yeah. And isn't Damian's mother an assassin? Yeah. That's like that internet clip that's on Outright Geeker right now. She's a fucking assassin. No, she's ass having, whatever it was he said. But yeah, he like, and plus out of all the people, me and Martha done the dumbest shit than anybody. We took a space baby that crashed from Earth and raised him. Like, who does stuff like that? But we did it and we loved him, And plus Batman, who knows more about raising Superman? Me or you? So yeah. So he was like, and he's basically telling them, like, don't worry, Jonathan knows how to use his powers. He's actually over costly using his powers, but don't worry, he'll get to the bottom of it. It may hurt him, he may hurt himself, but he'll find out what's going on. So he talks to Nightwing. Basically, wants to talk Nightwing about Batman. He's like, if anybody can handle Batman, Nightwing can do it. And Nightwing's like, look, I'm handling some ninjas right now, and the place is on fire. But yeah, if you want to help me out, Superman, go ahead. And Superman shows up like 2 seconds, take everything out, wraps up everybody, and still being. He's like, look, I gotta talk to you. Batman. He like, what has he done now? He was like, he telling me not to trust Jay. What do you know about Jay? He like, look, I did some digging, but I didn't find anything. But at the same time, I'm not Batman. So Batman knows this shit more than I do. But at the same time, Batman doesn't trust people. I'm not gonna tell you what happened to him, but as a kid, some fucked up shit happened to him where he doesn't trust people anymore. He might get that looked at, but that's the thing. But yeah, but I did some digging. Damien did some digging. We don't know anything about this guy. And Jonathan's just like, well, should I investigate? He was like, that's what Batman would do, but what would Superman do? Oh, you think I should talk to him? Yeah, go talk to him. Okay, just talk to your boyfriend. So he shows up, and he just shows up. He just straight up asked him. He was like, man, can we talk? You're like, I don't like that conversation. He's like, I just need to straight up ask you, are you a terrorist? You're like, whew, thank goodness. I thought you were about to break up with me. You're like, no, I'm not a terrorist, but I already know what Batman is. And I understand that's why Batman don't like me. Batman is talking about the revolutionaries. And you're like, yeah, that's exactly what Batman was talking about. Okay, let me tell you who the revolutionaries are. I was basically kidnapped by the Gamoran scientists. They tortured me. They gave me superpowers. They turned me into a weapon. And we tried to escape on a fugitive boat. But when they tried to rescue us, this revolutionaries came and saved us. Now, the revolutionaries are a little extreme. They killed everybody on that boat, but that's what they do. So if you want to call them terrorists, technically, yeah, they are terrorists, but they still saved us. You know. Uh, and yeah, that's the thing. But guess what? What you know about them is that they all the Gamoran people have like bombs inside of their heads and they're being controlled by people. So Jonathan didn't know that. He's like, wait a minute. I left one of the Gamorans in the Just League home base. I need to go talk to him right now to see what's going on. So meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice, he goes to the Hall of Justice, talk to the Flash, and they got the name of the guy. I think his name Inferno, Incendiary, whatever his name is. He turns into fire. So they got him hostage, and he like, if you want to go see him, he's in the next room. Like, no, I don't want to see him. I don't want him to see me. I'm gonna use my X-ray vision to zoom in, and yep, there it is. He's got a bomb in his head, and somebody's controlling him. So we need to find a way to get that bomb out of his head. So how do we do that without him seeing us? He was like, John, meet the Atom. The Atom can shrink down, get in there, get the bomb out, and never know he was even there. Like, interesting. So which Atom is this? I don't know. Is it Ray Palmer? Is it Brian? I don't know. It's an Atom. So he sneaks into his room, shrinks down to his ear, sneaks in to get the bomb out. And as soon as he even gets ready to touch the bomb, President Bendix realizes that somebody's tampering with the bomb. So he's just like, uh-oh. So that's when Bendix takes over Inferno's head, and he just like, you don't want to do that if I were you. And they're like, oh shit, he's in the room. We need to get Adam out of the room right now. Otherwise, he's gonna blow up and kill everybody and blow up the Hall of Justice again, because it blows up like every comic, you know. So they get Adam out of there, you know. Adam runs out of there. He Superman catches him, gives him the flash, run out of here quick, and I'm gonna take Inferno up to the room before he blows the Hall of Justice. So he takes him to the roof, blows him out, and yeah, so that's the thing. So he's got him in there, but he's still got that bomb in his head. Saying, and Bendis is telling him, like, blow him up right now, kill everybody. So John does a trick where he uses X-ray vision, heat vision, some other shit, basically microsurgery the bomb out of his head. Now Clark did this shit in one of those old comics also. So it's a thing Superman has done before, you know. And anyway, he's free, so he has his own mind back. Inferno is a regular person now. Hugs John, thank you for saving me. And that's it. So Bendix is pissed. He's like, Luthor, time for phase 2. He was like, phase 2 already? He's like, yes, do it now. Kill Superman. Dun, dun, dun. And the Return of Krypto, I guess. But yeah. So yeah, that's the book. So yeah, that one little panel that we read, that's made the whole book for me. Batman and Paul Kent sitting down having a conversation, because I don't think that's ever happened before. And it was a heartfelt conversation where you can see why Paul Kent, you know, is Superman's dad, because he was basically like, you know, a father figure, you know.
And he puts Batman in his place.
He puts Batman in his place. Like, who knows more about raising Superman, me or you? Yeah. Then shut the fuck up.
So you don't trust your boyfriend, his boyfriend. It's like you were banging fucking Talia al Ghul. You're fucking Catwoman. Like, who the fuck are you?
Like, you fuck supervillains all the time, and you talk about him all the time.
Who the fuck are you to preach to people about toxic relationships, asshole? Like, shut the fuck up.
So yeah, I love it, man. I love it. That was a good. I'm glad that Tom Taylor brought Jonathan Kent back, because I remember he was dead like 5 years ago, and they brought him back. So yeah, so whatever. Yeah. I think I'm booked out. What you got?
Well, the only ones that I had left were the free comic book shit.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's cool that they released these online, because I went to Free Comic Book Days last week, and the store I went to, which is one of the bigger stores in the Twin Cities here in Minnesota, they hardly had anything. They had like 3 books. They had.
You got to get there early.
No, this is like all they had. It's like, and the place was packed. All they had was that Final Crisis or whatever it was called, the one that you read, where the Justice League gets killed. All those
Oh, I
supervillains
was
come.
gonna review that, but it was just sad, and the Just League did. I'm like, I don't review that shit.
Yeah, but
I
it was
got
like
it, but I'm not gonna review it. But
yeah, it was that book though. It was that first book you read. It was a copy of that. It was like Crypto or whatever, the superhero pets or whatever.
I saw that. I was like, nah.
Yeah. And then some other DC superhero, teeny bopper superhero book they were doing. But the ones that I wanted, the Ninja Turtles ones that I checked out. So they're relaunching a new series with new writers. And it's Tom Waltz and Sophie Campbell. They're basically taking over the I guess the Ninja Turtles now from
Are they
Eastman and Laird.
renumbering it, or are they just gonna keep going?
I don't know, but it's I guess the Armageddon game, but basically I think it takes place in the future, kind of what we were reading in Last Ronin or whatever, or a variation of that universe. But this basically mirrors Ninja Turtles #1, the old school one from Mirage Studios. So you get like the four turtles. They're fighting, instead of fighting the gang, they're fighting some fascist police force, and it's basically the same. It's a variation of the same narration that you hear Leonardo did from the old #1. So it's like 10 pages of that, and then you get 10 pages of Ninja Turtles #1 from back in '84. So then you get to compare.
What? Okay.
Yeah, you get to compare, and it's like you can see how it was like the same thing, only they're back. The introduction to the Turtles, they're fighting that street gang, they kick ass, all that stuff. So yeah, it was pretty cool, and I actually might check it out just to see this new line of turtle stories. Over the years, I've dipped in and out of the IDW run. It's been a little hit or miss for me, but this seems like they're really taking it back to that old, the old school stuff. So I might check it out. And then the other free comic book that I got was the Stranger Things. Now I'm a huge Stranger Things fans. The new season starts like in a few weeks. I've actually been binge watching the show again. This week I've been I had COVID this week, so I was like quarantined. I couldn't go anywhere, so I was like watching all this shit. So I've been rewatching Stranger Things. And I gotta say, the first season still really holds up really well. It's before it got huge. It was just very minimal and basic, and really followed the relationships. It really got into the characters, and before it got huge. Then it became huge. So season 2 and 3, Netflix pumped all the money, and it became these big epic, giant set pieces and stuff. But the first season, it's very like contained and really focuses on plot and story and characters. And I was really getting into it again. So the Stranger Things free comic book day book, basically the kids are at a drive-in, and they're watching these stupid horror flicks. They're having a conversation like, why do you watch this shit? Why is it because it's stupid? It's fun. It's I basically, why do people watch horror movies? It's a cathartic release, whatever. It's how we deal with shit. Especially, why do you watch this? Especially when you've fought real monsters before. Why do you, why? How can you watch this shit when you've dealt with this in real life? And he's just like, well, I don't want the real life trauma to ruin what I love. And I thought that was really cool. We deal with real life trauma through art, through music, through comics or whatever. It helps us cope with it. So I thought that was really cool. And of course, there's a scene where Eleven freaks out, where she thinks the monsters are coming, but it's actually dudes playing pranks. And she kind of gets all, kind of loses it for a second. And they're like, oh, you're okay. It's just a prank. Like, okay, cool. Well, let's go watch these dumb horror flicks that you like. And it's at a drive-in. So I thought it was a really cute little 10-page, story, setting up for the new season. So yeah, I dug on it. So
when is the new season?
Like in a couple weeks, season 4. So I'm stoked. I'm excited. I've been, like I said, I've been rewatching the show again. So yeah, I'm stoked. So yeah, and that's all I got. I'm booked out.
Cool. Like I said, we made it through another week. Don't know what's gonna happen next week, but we will follow up and come up with something. Just gonna do a quick music review real quick and just move on. The Kendrick Lamar album drop. Everybody's loving it. Everybody's going crazy over it. But there's one song that jumps out at me that I heard, and it's that I think it's the song where he's arguing with his girl. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's very, very, very similar to RZA's Domestic Violence. I know a lot of people haven't heard that song, but it is a very awesome song. It's basically the same thing. RZA's arguing with his girl, and it's a better song at that. So listen to him. I'm telling you, the RZA song is an awesome song. Go back and listen to that song. Listen to it. Compare it to the Kendrick Lamar, because I know everybody loves Kendrick Lamar. He can do no wrong. His shit doesn't stink and stuff like that. But that concept, it's way too similar. So everybody stop what you're doing. Listen to. Matter of fact, I'm throwing it in. It's gonna be the end of the song.
Yeah. Well,
Domestic violence will be the end of the song. Yeah.
Yeah, he always sort of throws back to old school shit. I mean, I know for
but normally old school shit that people know. Nobody knows that domestic violence song.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I think I'm not a huge Kendrick fan, but I dig that he's sort of carrying messages from like KRS-One and Public Enemy, and now RZA. You know,
right. But it's just like, because it's very few people that know that song, but people that know that song. You know.
Yeah. So it's just like yeah, us old motherfuckers know this shit, but like the new kids, like I see like on YouTube, this is my first time listening to Wu-Tang. My reaction, I'm like, really? Yeah, like, okay, you look like you're fucking 16 years old, so yeah, I get it. Yeah.
you ever seen those kids? You ever seen them kids try to use a Walkman?
Oh yeah.
That shit's gonna make you feel old. They're looking at it. They just hold the Walkman to their ear,
and they put the tape, and they're like, "What do you do?
What do you do with this? Do you talk to it? Play music?" You're like, no, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, but yeah, we'll follow up next week with something else. Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time, same bullet channel.